Hey friends, I wanted to let you know that due to some unforeseen circumstances, the audio quality of this episode is not up to our normal standard. So I apologize for that, but I still think you're going to get a lot out of the episode. So listen up and enjoy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Healthcare Wayfinders podcast, where we are routing you to more accessible and cost-effective healthcare. I'm your host, Zach Aten, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. In fact, a little bit different than the next couple of episodes. I'm going to be diving deep into a few health apps that have completely changed the way that I think about and manage my wellness. For me personally, a big part of my wellness journey has been managing my weight. And the app that we're going to be talking about today is all about that. It's called Noom. And if you've ever struggled with maintaining healthy habits, or if you have been searching for a holistic approach to weight loss, I think this episode is going to be for you. I've been using Noom now for about a year, and I can honestly say that it's made a pretty big impact in my life. I think I've lost about 20 pounds since starting using the app. I found out about it when I was working with my nutritionist and dietitian, Jennifer Hunt, who listeners of the show will remember because we did an episode with her a few months ago. And during that time with her, I was just always struck by how much we talked about my mindset and habits around food. And the thing about Noom is that it's all about that. It's all about your mindset. And so that's what really got me into it. It's not just about calorie counting or tracking. It's about how you think about your food and how you feel about your body and how you address your emotional triggers that impact your habits and what you're eating. So today I'm going to share a little bit about how Noom has shifted my mindset and helped me build some sustainable habits that have transformed my relationship with food. Plus, I'm going to break down some pros and cons so that you can decide if it's going to be right for you. So let's get started with the basics. What exactly is Noom? It's an app that blends behavior science, psychology, health tracking, all of that to help you make your long-term lifestyle changes. Unlike traditional weight loss methods where the focus is on restrictive diets or intense workouts, Noom really takes a more holistic approach by addressing the root causes of our eating habits. The app is built around daily lessons that teach you about the psychology of weight loss and behavior change. These are quick lessons, typically 5 to 10 minutes, but each of them pack a big punch. They're designed to help you understand your relationship with food and identify your emotional triggers that then will allow you to develop healthier habits. Now, these lessons, they're not just reading lessons or listening lessons, because I actually love listening to them. Noom also gives you a personal coach. Yeah, it's like a real coach who helps offer guidance and support and accountability. They check in with you via the chat feature in the app, and they help us stay on track. Plus, you can log your food, track your mood, keep your tabs on your goals. And it's like having a personal therapist, nutritionist, all in your pocket, guiding you through your health journey day by day. So let's get into what really impacted me the most about Noom. And like I've said before, what attracted me to it was that it mimicked the conversations that I was having with my nutritionist, Jennifer, about my mindsets around food and about how I was feeling every day in a way that Jennifer couldn't be there every day, every moment of every day, like Noom could. But what I didn't expect when I started using Noom was how deeply it would impact my mindsets and the approach that I take to my health. The psychological side of Noom is really its defining feature. It made me realize that my goals weren't just about losing weight. They were about also understanding why I was eating the way that I was. Before Noom, I didn't realize how often I would turn to food when I was stressed, bored, or even just celebrating something, which none of those are bad in and of themselves, but it helped me identify the emotional triggers that I didn't even know existed and has given me a healthy alternative to meet those needs instead of just putting food in my mouth. Another huge impact for me was the idea of small, sustainable changes. Noom doesn't encourage extreme dieting or fasting results. Instead, it focuses on long-term sustainable behavior changes. I started to realize that I didn't have to be perfect all the time with my eating. I just needed to be consistent. And that mindset has been a game changer for me. At the same time, the accountability factor has really made a difference too. Having a personal coach, someone who checks in with you, encourages you, and even helps you overcome setbacks, kept me motivated, especially on my tough days. They even have a great community of other people who are using Noom on the journey that they're on, and it's helping them all of us change how we think about food. So here, right when you come in, this is where like your lesson plans, and they organize this as if it's like a learning track. You basically can go through and read the different lessons. This one is talking about why you can enjoy more green foods. Okay, so this is actually talking about Noom's color coding system for foods. They're really big into calorie density and teaching you how, say, eating a pound of grapes is going to be less calorie dense than eating a pound of raisins, right? Because the grapes are mostly water. Noom organizes foods into, I think, like a green, orange, and red. And those aren't like good, aren't like best, good, and not okay foods. It's just basically a way for you to stay aware of the food that you're eating and how calorie dense it is, because that's going to have an effect on your ability to lose weight. Because at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out, right? So this is a sort of like a subtle psychological way to just be on top of what you're eating so that you can make healthy food choices without feeling like you're pinned down to some like hyper intense diet. So you are able to log your food in Noom. I don't personally do that myself because I like having a more like granular view of the food. I actually use another app called Lose It, which we're going to go over in an upcoming episode. And Lose It basically lets you keep track of all your macros, calories, protein, everything. And with Noom, it's more of just like how many calories am I eating? How calorie dense are the foods that I'm eating? Which that might be great for you. I just nerding out a little bit more on what I'm eating and what the actual numbers are. So that's why I wind up doing it outside of Noom. But I do connect the apps together so that my calories do show up in Noom, so it can tell me like where I'm at on my goal and if I've hit my goal. So, but the most of the time I spend is actually going to be here working on these little lessons that have, like I said, just super helped me with understanding the psychology of how I eat, why I eat what I eat, and have just really helped me honestly lose the weight that I have. So this is the learning track I'm on right now. So it's talking about nutrition, why we eat and how we eat, balancing that nutrition, creating space for joy in your life, taking charge of your mental wellness. So that's why it's so interesting, this app, because it really is a psychology app that just happens to be using food as a way for you to be more aware of your life and what you're doing. So you're going to get a lot of psychology in this, but in bite-sized pieces that isn't overwhelming, but will also allow you to make small changes that you can consistently keep doing that are going to have big impacts on your life, which is why I really enjoy it. So you could also put in your weight. I have it set to my smart scale that I use. You can put in your exercise so that it can kind of keep track on the calories that you're burning there. But again, like I said before, the biggest thing I'm doing, and that's helped me, is going to be the lessons that I make 5 minutes a day time for that really have impacted my health journey. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of Noom. Nothing's perfect, right? And Noom definitely has its strengths and areas where it could improve. So let's start with the pros. Personalization. Noom is incredibly personalized based on your goals, preferences, lifestyle. It tailors your plan to fit you. Your lessons, your food recommendations, and even the coaching is all tailored to meet your unique needs. The second pro that we're going to talk about is a mindset shift. Unlike most diets that just focus on restricting what you eat, Noom helps you understand why you eat and what drives your behavior. This psychological approach to weight loss is really powerful because it focuses on changing habits for the long term, not just on some short-term results or some short-term diet. And the final pro we're going to talk about here is accountability and support. Having a personal coach is a huge benefit. I felt like I had a built-in support system. Plus, the community aspect, you can join groups based on your goals. It also helped keep me motivated. But like any app, there's always some cons. First con that we're going to talk about today is a time commitment. If you're someone who doesn't have much time to dedicate, Noom might not be the right choice for you. The daily lesson and food tracking required is a consistent time investment that can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how detailed you want to get about your food logging. The second con is going to be price. Noom isn't the cheapest option. The subscription can add up and it might not be accessible for everyone. If you're looking for a free app or a one-time purchase, Noom might feel expensive. That said, the logic that won me over was that I was making a long-term investment in my health and in the health of my family by working with an app like Noom. The third con that we're going to talk about is discipline versus psychology. If you're someone who just wants a strict meal plan or a workout routine, Noom's approach might feel a little touchy-feely for you. It's a different approach. It's focused on your psychology, and it may not be for everyone. If you're thinking about giving Noom a try, here's a few tips to help you get the most out of the app. Embrace the mindset shift. The biggest benefit of Noom is its focus on changing your behaviors and your mindset around food. Be open to the lessons and embrace the idea that it isn't just about losing weight. It's about building a healthier relationship with food. Engage with your coach. Don't just use Noom for tracking your meals. Take advantage of your coach, reach out with questions, share your struggles, and ask them for guidance. They're going to be more than happy to help you or refer you to people in the community that can walk with you on your journey. Be consistent. This is probably the most important one. It's easy to get discouraged if you miss a day or feel like you're not seeing the results the right away. But remember, Noom is about long-term habits. Keep going, even on the hard days. So to wrap things up, Noom is more than just a weight loss app. It's a tool for changing your mindset and building sustainable health habits. If you're someone who struggled with emotional eating, feeling stuck in a cycle of unhealthy habits, or just want to take a deeper look at your relationship with food, Noom could be exactly what you need. If you'd like to try Noom for yourself, you can get a 2-week free trial and a 20% off any subscription that you sign up for by using the link in the podcast description below. I hope my experience with Noom has given you some insight into how this app could help you on your health journey. If you've ever used Noom, I'd love to hear about your experiences. What worked for you? What didn't? Send us a message in the podcast description and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Healthcare Wayfinders. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might find it helpful. In the next episode, we're going to be reviewing another app that's had a huge impact on my health journey, and it's all about strength training. So stay tuned.